1 second. That's all it would have taken. One powerful kick of the tail, and the 60-pound giant Trevally would have disappeared into the deep blue forever. My heart was pounding. My lungs were burning, and on the shoreline a group of local farmers were watching in disbelief as chaos unfolded in the shallows. This wasn't just another dive. This was one of those once-in-a-lifetime moments that every spearfisher dreams about and fears at the same time. We were diving the shallow reefs of the Philippines, targeting pelagic fish that sometimes cruise surprisingly close to shore. The water was crystal clear, sunlight cutting through the surface and lighting up the rocky bottom below. On days like this, everything feels calm. Too calm. You never know when a shadow might materialize out of the blue. Giant Trevally, known as GTs, are built like torpedoes. Thick shoulders, raw power, and an attitude that says they own the ocean. If you've ever hunted pelagics in shallow water, you know they don't give second chances. I dropped down slowly, equalizing, moving as naturally as possible. The key with big GTs is patience. They're curious, but cautious. One wrong move and they're gone. As I hovered above the reef, I saw it, a massive silver shape gliding just beyond the rocks. At first, I thought it was a smaller fish closer to me, but as it turned broadside, the size became obvious. This was a monster. Thick body, scarred flanks, and easily pushing 60 pounds. My pulse spiked instantly. The fish circled once, keeping its distance. I angled my body away slightly, pretending not to notice it. That subtle trick sometimes triggers their curiosity. It worked. The giant Trevally began to close the gap, slow and deliberate, like it was sizing me up. In shallow water pelagic hunting, you don't get long windows. It's either now or never. I extended the spear gun carefully, tracking its movement without jerking the muzzle. When it turned slightly toward me, presenting that perfect broadside shot, I squeezed the trigger. The spear hit solid. A clean shot, but that's when the real fight began. The GT exploded with power, ripping line off the reel and tearing toward open water. For a split second, I thought it was gone. A fish this size in shallow water is unpredictable. It darted between rocks, kicking up sand, trying to cut the line. I kicked hard to keep tension, managing my breathing while trying not to black out from the sudden adrenaline spike. On shore, a few farmers who had been watching our dive started shouting. They could see the commotion from above, the splashes and the thrashing silver body just beneath the surface. This is the part most people don't see when they watch spearfishing videos. It's not just about pulling the trigger. It's about control, line management, staying calm when a 60-pound giant Trevally is doing everything it can to escape. My hands were shaking as I grabbed the float line, carefully applying pressure, but not too much. One wrong move, and the spear could tear free. The GT made another blistering run, this time toward deeper water. For a moment, I imagined the worst-case scenario. The spear pulling out and that massive fish vanishing into blue, like it was never there. But persistence pays off. Gradually, the runs got shorter. The powerful tail beat slowed. I moved in carefully, respecting the fish's strength even in its final moments. When I finally secured it, the sheer size of the giant Trevally hit me. This wasn't just a good fish. It was the kind of catch that defines a season. We later weighed it at just over 60 pounds. A true trophy GT taken in shallow Philippine waters. Back on shore, the farmers gathered around, wide-eyed and smiling. For many of them, seeing a fish that size come from just beyond the reef was shocking. Their panic had turned into excitement. They couldn't believe it had almost escaped. Honestly, neither could I. That's the reality of pelagic hunting in the Philippines. The ocean doesn't guarantee anything. Every dive is a gamble. Every shot is a calculated risk. Giant Trevally are among the most respected game fish in the world for a reason. Whether you're targeting them with rod and reel or through spearfishing, They demand skill, patience, and composure. Hunting GTs in shallow water adds another layer of intensity. There's less room for error. Rocks, reefs, and sudden drop-offs can either help you land a fish or cost you everything. On this dive, we were right on the edge of both outcomes. For our U.S. audience who love extreme spearfishing, blue water hunting, and big fish action, this is what it's all about. It's not just about the catch. It's about the story behind it. The near miss, the split-second decisions, the moment you lock eyes with a creature that powerful and commit to the shot. Spearfishing in the Philippines offers some of the most exciting pelagic encounters in the world, and days like this prove why. When I look back at the footage, what stands out most is that first second after the shot, the line screaming off the reel, the GT twisting violently in the shallows, the realization that this fish could slip away at any moment. That's the addictive part of spearfishing. It's raw. It's unpredictable. It's you versus one of the ocean's strongest predators in its own territory. If you're passionate about giant trevally fishing, shallow water spearfishing, or adrenaline-packed underwater hunting, this was one of those unforgettable battles. A 60 lb giant trevally almost escaped, and for a moment I thought it would, but preparation, patience, and a little luck made the difference. The ocean tested us, and this time we came out on top.